Good morning, everybody. It's April 14th, and we're at the Mentor Monday with Dave Daughtrey, the Millionaire Maker. We're here to actually talk about my favorite subject, by the way, based on what I've done and historically. I used to teach leadership in my former life back in, with the military, with the retail industry, and then into the direct selling industry. Leadership is the backbone for everything. So tonight we're going to be talking about leadership, the five principles of leadership, and why it's important for your development, not only for your development, but for your team's development. And ultimately, it starts with trust. So today, what a perfect topic to plan for today based on what has happened over the weekend. For those that aren't in the know or have not been on LinkedIn or listening to social media and listening to the powers of bees talking about what happened, there was a massive announcement about a major company that is global, a company that I actually looked at and investigated myself to supply certain products for a program that I do, which is the detox program. And I did love the product. I did love, the idea of what they were trying to do. However, my spidey senses came up and I'm not too sure if I was aligned with what they were trying to do. So I decided to do something else and I did my research, I did my legwork and looked into the people. Now, I loved the people, the front house, but when you have to also look at is the back house. And that was one thing I was looking at when I do any investigation with any company, when anything that I do, it's all about the leadership. What does that mean? Who are the ones making the decisions? And we see this in so many different avenues, not only in terms of our family values, but also in political values with companies, with to sort of look at what we do in terms of aligning ourselves when it comes to our name, our brand, our trust, and our future. So today's topic is really important to me. So I really think this is going to be a great segue to hand over to our leader. One of the reasons why I chose to come and dedicate my name, my trust, my integrity, because trust is my love language, as Claudia calls it, to somebody that I believed in. And that becomes tenure, and that was Dave Daughtrey. And Dave Daughtrey has been, a guiding force behind my development with this company. And I'm going to hand it over to Dave Daughtrey, and thank you for the trust. And I love this topic, by the way. So I'm handing it over to you, my leader. Okay.
Thank you, Gillian. I appreciate that. There's a lot of leaders here, Being a good leader also means being present, listening, learning, sharing. In order to lead, you also have to begin by following. I've got and I still follow today. I mean, I learn constantly, and that's what I love about this business is that it brings so many people together and we learn from each other. I mean, I just this past week, I was listening to some of the people in other markets, especially Peru and Colombia, and I learned so much from listening to. They're brand new. They just started this month of April, and so I love learning. As Jillian mentioned, there has been a bit of a shakeup in the industry, and those of you that don't know me, I've been doing this for 44 years before some of you were born. I began in 1981, end of 81. I was introduced to what we call network marketing or multi-level marketing. And so this journey for me has been a journey of listening, learning, and sharing. It's a simple process. And so I'm a networker. What's a networker? It isn't what I do, it's who I am. Kind of like a musician, you know. There may be a musician that writes one song and that's about it. But then when you take someone like a Paul McCartney from the Beatles, it's in his blood. He'll wake up in the middle of the night with a thought in his head like yesterday, and he'll just start writing it down. It's a 24/7 thing. It's just who you are. And so in my journey of networking, I've always tried to apply certain principles. One of those principles has always been I don't burn bridges. People come and go. It's a revolving door. And some come, and from the very beginning, they stay. Some come and leave for a while. They come back. Have you have some of those people on the call with us right now that came And they went out and they basically tested some waters in other places and found that they weren't as warm and friendly, maybe, or they're just not there anymore. They crashed and burned, and now they're back. So in this journey of mine, that's a philosophy I've always applied. So what I want to share with you real quick, and I encourage all of you to do the same. I understand that there's a lot of emotion when you're building this kind of business because it's about people and you're very passionate. I'm very passionate. And so, there's an emotion behind it, but at the same time, you kind of have to just control that sometimes and let people be people and let them sometimes figure things out on their own. That's also part of being a good leader. So let me share my screen with you. I'm going to be showing my screen on different things today. But this was what I received on Friday. I think you all can see this. Modere. Let me tell you about Modere. Every company has a culture. I love the For Life culture. That began with David and Bianca Lisenby. It's a culture of service, a culture of realistic expectations. They don't oversell and underdeliver. In fact, just the opposite. You know, everything they do is based on science, and it's just real. It's substance. There's substance to it. There's just no smoke and mirrors. You know what I'm saying? A lot of other companies I can't say that about. Um, Modera goes all the way back to the 80s with a company called Images. I knew very well the founder of that company back in the 80s. It crashed and burned, and they therefore founded another company called New Ways. Some might remember New Ways. And basically, it got even worse with that company. The culture was a bad culture. And when I say bad culture, we're just talking, there just wasn't any principles or values. And that kind of morphed into Modere, and CEOs changed, and even ownership changed, and so forth. Well, when you have struggles amongst the top people, you start seeing, like in the case of, and I'll show you something in a minute, a CEO or top executive fighting, internal fighting and things like that going on, it's so destructive for the culture of a company. I look at our leadership, and we're talking about leadership today, and we're not just us in the field. That's also applied inside our corporate offices at For Life. And that begins with David Lisenby and Danny Lee. I'm thrilled to say that the For Life executives, these guys have been around since For Life's inception. They respect each other, they love each other, they care about each other, they take care of each other, but they also know there's one person at the helm that is the big decision maker. That's David Lisenby, David and Bianca. Now David. And so if you look at this, I received this on Friday from Nathan Larson. Modere, thank you for the journey. After 23 wonderful years of serving our cherished community, well, think about that. How many people, over 23 years built teams and they're gone, just gone, starting over again, finding a new place. All right. So anyhow, I'm sure you've all read it by now. All right. So thank you. It's been an honor. Well, as I mentioned, I don't burn bridges. And so I immediately reached out to somebody that I know from Modere. Now, this name might ring a bell with some of you guys. I'm going to share I'm very transparent, by the way. I'm sharing my chat with you, okay? This is my chat, all right, my messaging. Excuse me, let me get back here to my stop sharing that screen there and share a new screen. Okay, so this is my messages here. You should be able to see. Here we go. All right, my messages. So I immediately reached out. You see, this is Friday when I got this. All right. Nathan says, if you know any Modere people, go get them ASAP. So I immediately reached out to this gentleman, Sean Alford. I said, hey, Sean, how are you? Heard some news about Modere today. Is it true? If so, would you consider having a conversation with me about the possibility of working together? I'd love to have a chance. All I'm doing is asking him for a chance to have a conversation. All right. Kevin is also working closely with me. Now, Sean knows Kevin. They go way, way back as well. All right. I said, so both of us will be working with you and Julio. Julio is Sean Alford's partner. He replied immediately. He said, hey, David, thank you so much for reaching out. Yes, it's true. Been a crazy day. I put, I'm sorry, my brother. Connection. All right. It appears here, and here's what he said. It appears that they lost their patent to offer their collagen. Probably the former CEO that was forced out sued and won. And I just put, wow. Do what you need to do. If you have a moment anytime, please let me know. We can at least talk. I've been through what you've been through, and I have. I know what it's like. It's heartbreaking. It sucks, but I can tell you I'm experiencing an interesting trend, which I'm going to talk about today. He says, thank you. I've appreciated you as a friend and a great mentor. Let things settle a minute. We can talk. I put absolutely. So we're going to have conversation. You know, that's networking, you guys. It's not about trying to find someone to go out and make you money. It's relationships. All right. And in developing the relationships, you just don't know which direction things are going to go, but you can kind of help steer things along as you're working with people. Step number one, empower them. How do you empower people? Involve them. Involvement recreates commitment. So you get them involved. Whenever I'm doing Zooms with someone, and I know you guys know that I can talk, all right? It's because I've been doing this for 44 years and I'm very confident, I'm very secure with my knowledge of the industry, knowledge of For Life, our products, and knowledge of other companies. I just explained the history that kind of led up to the company Modere, going back to the 80s. So that's just because I've been in this industry for long enough. I just know a lot of history. But when I'm doing my presentations and talking to people, I always try to involve the other person as much as I can. So I would encourage you when you're doing, let's say, a three-way Zoom, all right, you're talking to someone, you've got someone who's fairly new in your team, and they said, hey, I've got Joe, I got Mary. Can you help me do a presentation with them? Well, then, yes, go ahead and start doing it, but involve that person. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I do. And in so doing that, what you're going to find is that person is going to start to all of a sudden develop more knowledge. Knowledge creates confidence. So as they get more confident, they start to create more action, and that action creates more results. So, but it all begins when you're working with someone, you begin by establishing this friendship. Okay. Networking is about friendships, relationships. But in the end, what keeps everybody together? Trust. Gillian said that right now. When she opened up, she talked about trust. How do you develop trust with someone? That takes time, takes a little bit longer. You start working with them, you're communicating with them, you leave the lines of communication open regularly. You do what my dad would always tell me: God gave you two ears and one mouth, so you listen more than you talk. Listen, try to find their needs as you start working with people. Now, I've got somebody that I'm working with in India right now. This gentleman just started this month as well. In fact, it's been amazing what's happened. I'll get into the whole industry in a few minutes here. But I'm getting to know this gentleman. His English it's okay. It's not great, but he writes pretty good. When he talks, it's a little hard for me to understand everything. We're communicating, but he calls me his older brother now. And he's told me that his life is in my hands. I mean, you talk about feeling responsible. I mean, this guy was with Amway for over 20 years. So when he made the decision, and I had to work on him, in fact, our beginning conversation started over a couple of months ago. And again, establishing friendship, me listening, and that's number two, by the way. Listen actively, listening to him, I could feel his pain. I could feel what he was going through. He'd been over 20 years with the company. He just felt he wasn't getting anywhere. He just felt that he needed to move on. He needed to let go of the old and grab onto the new. And I was here to help him do that. I did that by listening. Sometimes I was up at he's in India, so I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning if I got a message from him. I actually left my phone. I took it off of Do Not Disturb. That way I could hear if a message came in. You can select if you want people that you can get a message from them, your phone dings. I was constantly making sure we were connected. Okay, I was listening to him. Now, well, let me just show you guys. Let me show you what happened over the weekend. Let me share my WhatsApp with you now. So, in so doing, this guy should have for his first month 3 new diamonds in India. Uh, Here he is, Shadiwala Trends. He sends me stuff like this all the time. Happy Monday. May God bless you with content and peaceful mind today. So his goal is by the end of the month to have his 3 diamonds. Awinish, Ishwar, and Vimal. This first person I don't know. I've met the other 2 already, but we're constantly communicating. I took Gabby out, by the way. She took me out to a Brazilian. It was my birthday. You guys know that last week. So we went out to a Brazilian restaurant, but I'm staying connected. I sent him this picture where I said, "Hey, we're going to this Brazilian restaurant to eat." But every day, in fact, I'm showing him. I was at the park. When was this? This was on Thursday. He messaged me. He says, "Hello, my bro. Good evening. How are you?" We're brothers, so it's always my bro. And that's the other thing. Adapt to the person you're talking to. Look, I don't. How many of you do I say bro to? All right. But with him, I do. Why? Because if I go all the way back 2 months ago, he started calling me bro, his older brother. Great. I'll be your bro. No problem. Adapt. But you listen to them. If you focus on what their needs are by listening, guess what? You will establish trust much quicker. And of course, the friendship, but I can go back and he's constantly, you can see Odin's my helper here. I send pictures of Odin. But anyhow, so he's sending me, here he is right here, new people he's signing up. A lot of activity going on, really cool stuff. Uh, so he's constantly keeping me updated. He's my little guy right here. And I asked him what size his shirt was. He wears a small. Gabby's going to make him a couple of 4 Life shirts. I'm going to India in June to help him work with his team. His goal is to be bronze by the end of his first 90 days. Okay. So listen, adapt, try to establish as quickly as you can what their needs are. All right. And if you want to remember things and remember names, repeat back. All right. His name's Om Prakash. He goes by Om. That makes it a lot easier for me. Om. I call him Brother Om. All right. So whenever I hear a name, I try to repeat it back. I don't do this all the time because I get caught up in conversation. But when you repeat something back, it shows you're listening, but it helps you remember too. All right. So, and when you're talking to someone, also take a serious, I'll share my screen again in a second. Take a serious interest in what they're saying. And I'll look, you guys, I am by no means, I think I'm pretty good at what I do, but I'm not perfect by any means at all. And that's one of my biggest challenges because my brain is constantly going a million miles a minute. So sometimes I have a hard time focusing on, on something that's being said because I'm always thinking about what's going on over there and over there and over there and over there. And I got 20 WhatsApp messages just came in. And so what you need to do is try to stay as focused as you can listening to someone. And in reflective listening, ask them a question. Ask them if you're talking to someone, what's been the greatest thing that's happened to you this week? Or in fact, one of the things I do, I try to remember who they're working with. Like I ask Om, how is Vishal doing? Or how's Rajesh doing? And I do that all the time. Not that I'm quizzing them. It's just that I'm staying engaged and by them telling me what's happening, it also helps me know where I need to focus as well. So that's what's going on over in India. Okay. Let me share my screen again with you. I mean, it's been amazing. And then I kind of want to get into a little bit before we move on with the other 3 I want to talk about, what's going on in the industry, my observation. All right. So let me just share. Here we go. Share my WhatsApp again. So this is what's going on since the 1st of April as well, right here. So this is gentleman who actually came to me by way of Eduardo Mendieta right here. Now, the gentleman talking is Alberto Flores. Alberto, the one in the little circle, he sponsored Eduardo. Alberto's in Peru, Eduardo's in Ecuador. Eduardo sponsored Rafael, who's in Peru. Isn't it interesting how networking works? Alberto lives in Lima, doesn't even know who Rafael is, the one here in the black shirt that looks a little bit Asian. He's part Japanese. And so Alberto has no idea who Rafael is, but Eduardo does. So Alberto sponsors Eduardo from Machala, Ecuador. Eduardo turns right around and sponsors Rafael back in Lima, Peru. Turns out these guys are almost neighbors. They both in Lima and don't even know each other. The wonders of networking. And so, but constantly these guys are out doing meetings. This gentleman just joined this past week. This guy's a serious leader, a serious builder. He had 22,000 people, another organization, company, basically crashing. It's going down. This is happening a lot, you guys, in this industry, a lot, all right, with companies. There's a cleansing going on. The strong will survive. For Life is debt free. If there's ever a time right now to start getting some serious people that are networkers, now's a good time. We're in an up cycle, an uptrend. And so this gentleman, his name is Alejandro, he's starting to do trainings as of last week in the For Life Peru office. But this guy's constantly now sending out, showing, he's basically beginning mentoring his people by educating them about For Life, about the products. Let me show you what this guy did. Let me go back here. I found this kind of interesting. I mean, you guys, this is just since Friday. Just since Friday, all these here, you can see what's going on here. All right. This guy's now doing his own. I mean, he's a great leader, a great mentor. Here he is with new people. He's signing up. They're meeting with him. But he went out and got 1,000 of these made up to give to his people. Here he's doing a training right here. Okay. Mentoring is about educating. Mentoring is also about declaring, and that's the next one, by the way, mentoring, okay, that we're talking about here. So in mentoring people, anybody can be a mentor, you guys, anybody, all right? So let me, and I say that because especially if you're a parent, you've got children, there's this one specific I'm looking for here. I want to show you right here. Look at this. It's in Spanish, but I think you'll get the idea. He went and had 1,000 of these made up.
Bueno, llegaron los planes servilleta a Perú. Ya, acá tenemos para dar 1.000 presentaciones. 1.000 presentaciones. Miren este espectacular, esta chulada, miren. Plan servilleta, a presentarle a un prospecto, a 2, a 3, a 50.
So what he's done is just create a simple napkin presentation, okay? Now, he's trying to teach his people quickly how to share For Life, how to share who we are as a company, the benefits of our products. You can make money, or not getting into the pay plan, but just giving people some bullets. It's all about bullets. The napkin presentation is bullets, 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 bullets. But what's he really doing? He may modify this as he moves along with he's beginning to mentor his people. Anybody can be a mentor. It's simply about declaring yourself. It really is. All right. And people look at me and they say, Dave, like Sean, Dave, you're a great mentor. All I do is just teach. I listen, I learn, and I teach or share. And that's really it. So I would encourage everyone here, declare yourself a mentor. All right. If you've got kids, you mentored them, you raised them, you took them from where they knew nothing and educated them, and I'm sure turned them into wonderful citizens, good people. All right. So it's about duplicating. And the way you duplicate with someone is it all begins by taking the time, answering their questions, putting them on the right path. Now, I'm the kind of person, just so you know, when I'm mentoring and teaching people that I work with directly, it's kind of like a puppy dog. If you're walking a puppy dog and you're trying to you all know my baby Odin, he's very well trained, very well, hand signals, very well trained. Well, that's done through teaching, through patience. All right. If Odin's walking along as a puppy and he steps off the grass, or I'm trying to make him heel, I don't break his neck by yanking him. I just tug him along here and teach him so he's walking the wrong way, pull him back a little bit, and eventually he gets it. And that's how I kind of look at mentoring with people as you're working with them. You know, keep them engaged, listen to them. All right, make sure that they're involved. Involvement creates commitment. All right, and edify them. Edify, edify, edify you guys. You want to, that's the one thing in this industry that is just common, you know, it's one of the common philosophies is edification. That's why you hear Gillian. Even right now, if somebody comes in, she'll say, you know, I don't say, hey, darling, you're not gonna hear me say that. All right. But you as people come in and they get involved, all right, edify, recognize them, edify them. Recognition is extremely important. And that's what a good mentor does. All right. So I want to encourage all of you, find someone, find one person that you feel you can mentor and just start doing it. You know, just start reaching out to them, talking to them, engaging them, you know, and then here's another thing. I'm a networker. What's a networker? A networker is someone who has developed the skill or has the ability to deliver a message to someone that they do not know through someone they do know. You see, the problem is everyone, if they join up and all they do is they go out and talk to people that they know, you're going to run out of people. You only know so many people. So what happens if none of those people are interested? You're done? You quit? No. People know people. You constantly ask the question, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody that would like to earn a little extra money? Do you know anybody that might want to start a home-based business? Do you know anybody who actually is really into health and wellness? They work out, they take supplements. They're just, you know, they really believe in staying good, healthy. They believe in prevention. Do you know anybody? OPP, other people's people. Now, that's how I began getting 10 people a day to listen to my message, OPP. I would always ask, do you know anybody? Well, here's an interesting fact. There's not one person in mine and Gabby's organization that knew us before For Life. Is that interesting? Not one. Not one person. Every single person in our organization we met since we joined For Life. That's networking. Jeff Algilbert, met him through Mark McCarty. Started forming a relationship with him. Call him up. He's watering his flowers, painting his house. He was mad at network marketing because the company he was with crashed and burned. Well, what did I do? I made a comment to him. I think that one comment was a comment that kind of caught him. It was like, you know what, you're right. I said, Jeff, don't base tomorrow's successes on yesterday's failures. If everybody did that, they might as well just stay home and watch TV all day. And it wasn't network marketing that let you down. It was people. The business model is great. You just need a good partner. And I told him, I said, David Lisenby, that's our partner. Let's talk about David Lisenby. See, so 4 calls, got him to sign up. And it was between Christmas and the New Year's, you guys. When everybody says, stop talking to people, nobody cares right now. Well, I got a platinum between Christmas and the New Year. I'm a networker. My antennas are constantly up. That's it's in my blood. All right. So energy, that's the next one. So far we've gone over empower. All right. Involvement creates commitment. Listen. All right. Listen to develop friendships and trust with people. Okay. Mentor. Declare yourself. All right. There's nothing wrong. That doesn't mean you're better than anybody. You know, in fact, I love it. I love it when I see someone that's a very experienced networker that is willing to let someone sponsor them that doesn't have the experience, rather than people think, well, I'm better than you. You should be under me. No, make a story out of them. Go out and build a business and let your sponsor become a millionaire. What a great story. Look at my sponsor. Anybody here? I'm curious. Now I know Claudia, you know. Does anybody here know who my sponsor is? Raise your digital hand. I'm curious if anybody knows who my sponsor is. I don't think anybody knows who my sponsor is. He retired in 1999. All right. He produces B movies. He lives in Las Vegas. In fact, I'll probably say hi to him when we're out in Vegas, at the summit that we're going to have, the event. But the point is, the guy makes, 30,000 a month probably from the organization. It's great, good story. I love it. Doesn't bother me at all. So mentor, declare yourself, mentor. Celebrate is next, number 4. Let's talk about that. Energy. All right. Positive energy, as I mentioned earlier, edifying. Okay. Share stories. Understand, you guys, stories sell, facts tell. There's a one-liner for you. Stories sell, facts tell. What does that mean? If you're talking to a doctor, they like to hear facts. Can you tell me about your messenger molecule? Okay, let's talk about it. But when you're talking to the most everybody else, it's the stories. See, doctors are trained. Well, that's anecdotal. Show me the data. We got data. We got clinical studies. I'll show you those. We're in the PDR. I'll show you that. But the average person, the data goes over their head. It's about the stories. All right. Those stories you celebrate. If you go to good health, all right, which is, we've got our 2 pathways here. We've got the Upline Pro, which is the business aspect where I'm doing training, helping people, learn this business of networking and how to build a wonderful community and family and team and make money. On the other side, you've got the health and wellness, which is good health. All right. You're going to hear a lot of stories in there. If you're not part of good health, you need to talk to the person because it's private. It's a private Facebook group. Talk to the person who invited you here. Tell them you want to become part of get involved with the Good Health Facebook group, and you'll see the stories. Celebrate stories, all right? Celebrate rank advancements. In Spanish, we do what's called our every first Saturday of the month. We just did it last Saturday. We call it, I'm sorry, not Lunes de Mentoría, it's the Mentor Monday. It's the Ponte la Camiseta. It means put on your shirt. That's kind of like a put on your jersey, all right? And we do that in Spanish. And one of the things that we do is recognition. Every first Saturday, we need to do the same thing in English eventually here, as people start, becoming maybe in the top 25, the leaderboards in your app, your cell phone app, or on the website. You can see the leaderboards. Who are the top recruiters? Who are the top My Shop sellers? The top 25. And you can even search some of these by country. So celebrate successes, celebrate stories. All right. When I call people and I ask them how they're doing, like to take Om in India or Alejandro in Peru or Eduardo, last night, I was, Eduardo, I don't know if you know this, but I was on with your guy in India, Suel, last night. I introduced him to Moheen. No, that's Bangladesh. I was on with Bangladesh last night, 11 o'clock at night. And I told him, I says, you guys, I'm done. I'm going to bed. But I was on with them and we were talking about the products. The stories of people using our products are amazing. Moheen was sharing some of these successes. Celebrate these successes, all right? Give shout outs. And that's one thing I'll have to admit that I need to work on, the shout outs. Gillian's great at that. And even Gabby and Claudia. I think the ladies do better at shout outs, honestly. But shout outs, recognize your people, shout them out, rank advancements, celebration. And that's what's great about conventions. I always say you've got to go to convention just to celebrate. So you worked hard, now go have fun. And they are fun. And lastly, this one I feel to me is one of the most important. Would you sponsor you? Look in the mirror when we finish today. All right. If you're putting on makeup or your, lipstick or you're combing your hair or whatever, brushing your teeth, look in the mirror and ask yourself today, would you sponsor you? In other words, are you leading by example? Are you doing the things that you expect your people to do? If you're not, how can you expect them to do it? Now, I understand not everybody's full-time. People have jobs, they have lives, they've got responsibilities, they have families, they may have church callings, things like that. But when you're engaged in your for-life business during that block of time, are you doing what you expect your people to do, your downline to do, your team members to do? If not, you need to do it. And if you are, congratulations. Lead by example. To me, that's the most important thing. And, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I really try to do that. I try to lead by example. I'm disciplined. I'm engaged. I'm very active, obviously. I'm always trying to be acutely aware of what's happening with my people. Not everybody, it's impossible all the time with everybody, but just by doing that, I feel like I'm being a good leader. All right. So lead by example. It begins with you. You're going to set the tone of your people, your downline. This is a monkey see, monkey do business. People will do what you do. So if you're actively engaged, in fact, I've had people say, Dave, I don't know how you do it. I'm just active. That's all. I've got my downtime. I got my Odin time. I got, with you and Gabby going to the Brazilian restaurant or going out. In fact, we're going to be hitting the road here pretty soon. We're going to go to Europe for 3 weeks, so, but lead by example. All right. I would encourage all of you, do at the end of each week, do yourself a weekly assessment. Ask yourself, what did you do this week? Were you a good leader? Did you work closely with your people? Were you engaged with them? All right. So just do your weekly assessment and ask yourself that. And just try to continuously do something that I personally feel that God put us here on this planet for. Develop. And I think to me, that's probably one of the saddest things when I see people through their entire life, the tremendous potential someone has. And they just didn't realize that they were in control of their development. We're all in control of that. You will develop, you will grow as much as you want to. There's not one person on this planet that was born a tremendously successful business person or a tremendously successful athlete. Now, having said that, some people are born with specific talents. If you're 7 foot tall, you're going to be a better basketball player than someone that's 4 foot tall. Some people are born with beautiful vocal cords and they sing and it just sounds angelical. Yes. All right. Same can be applied to our industry. Some people are born that are very, very social. They're just naturally that way. They're weedy, and people love them and they're talkative and great. They're perfect for this business. But most of us, we develop. So if you're always going to be the lead dog, you've got to be an example to others. But I will say this in finishing today. Let other people lead too. All right. I get on these calls a lot. And when people say, like it's Gillian and Claudia, a lot of people in our organization call me the millionaire maker. And, I look at it and I guess, yeah, that's just the side effect of building this business, if you will. But the one thing I can say that I've done, if you say, well, Dave, where are all these millionaires? They're all over the place. They're very independent. Some of them were just in Los Angeles. And I want to hear from Sonia to hear how that went. But, Juan Rosado, he's on my level 10, I believe. Arminio's my level 9. Jeff Gilbers is front line to me. I've got Sherry Dan. They're all over the place. And I've got new ones coming up now that are just stellar, great networkers. Well, this business is about duplication. It's a good thing to have independent leaders. I'm not a controlling person. I just want to help people. I want everybody to accomplish their dreams, their goals. If you want to write 10 books about network marketing and have them all be bestsellers, in the New York Times best-selling list, great. Do it. That's your ambition. That's your goal. I'm just a vehicle. I'm just here to help. And that's the way I look at this. Because at the end of the day, or at the end of let's just say the next 40 or 50 years, I'm not going to be here. If you duplicate well, Guess what? I believe For Life will be here. I believe For Life is one of those companies that's a rare gem, and you're going to be able to leave something for your family, just as Ray Muir has done, Bonnie Taylor has done, Dave Phillips has done, Sadiq Din has done. If you don't know those, Dave Phillips was a gold, but Bonnie was platinum, Ray Muir was platinum, Sadiq was platinum, and they've all passed away over the last few years. And they've left wonderful, wonderful, wonderful residual incomes to their families. So we're building a future. That's what this is all about. So again, to recap what we talked about. 1, empower. Involvement creates commitment. Listen. You got 2 ears, 1 mouth. By listening, you're going to develop friendships and you're going to build trust with people. Take an interest in their needs. They'll listen to you. Mentor. Declare yourself. And you may be awkward at first because maybe you're like, well, I don't consider myself a leader. You are a leader. You are. Every one of us is. You just have to make that declaration. Celebrate. Celebrate successes. Share stories. This is a storytelling business. Stories sell. Facts tell. There's the one-liner. And lead by example. It's a monkey see, monkey do business. If you lead by example, be the lead dog, but then at the end of the day, go ahead and switch places. When you got some leaders that want to actually blow by you, celebrate them. All right. Be like the Nike swoosh. By the way, Phil Knight, he told the person that $75 he paid for that logo. Pretty good investment, $75. He told the girl, all I want is something that would look like somebody running past me. Swoosh. That's what it is. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you joining today. I hope you got something out of this Mentor Monday. Sonia, are you with us? I'd like to kind of get a recap, if you don't mind. I'm curious. Our breakfast, it was a breakfast, I assume. Is Sonia here?
1 second, I just need to unmute her, or you, or one of the co-hosts. Where is Sonia?
And that's one thing that they're doing, by the way. You're going to start seeing more and more live meetings. I love what I'm seeing they're doing in South America. Oh, I failed to show you guys something, but Ohm sent me a list of all the new people he signed up over the weekend. The guy's been out on the road. He's doing home presentations, going homes of people that he knows. He signed up over the weekend about 17 people over the weekend.
Hey, Dave, how
Oh.
you doing today? Great Monday.
Hi,
Thank you
Sonia.
for your message today. You know, you're so right, and stepping out. I mean, for me, it's a challenge. People might think it's easy for me to talk, but it's a challenge every time you talk to on public, or you try to go up and approach people. So I just want to encourage everybody that's here today. You know what? We're all evolving. We're all growing. This weekend was phenomenal. You know, when you show up to events, especially when they're in person. Now, luckily I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish. The event was completely in Spanish, so I get it. We had a couple English speakers, believe it or not, and they were up at the front, and somebody was translating for them. But the event went phenomenal. It was designed to be able to deliver a message of healing. And they had their personal detox program that was ran by a doctor, a physician. He talked about how to detox your body with his package. But the one thing that he talked about was the focus was more on health. Like, how do I fix what's wrong inside of me? Like, you know, why is it doing this thing that it's doing to me? And then it led into a message of, you know, this product and also the opportunity, right? And then, you know, you cap it off with Juan Rosado, which is the guardia, or the security guard that's gone millionaire, right? You can't, if you're there in person and you feel the energy, the package was available to people at a discount. They were actually given a free transfer factor plus if they purchased on the spot.
Nice.
The line was long, let's put it that way. There was 100 attendees available to go. That's it. There was only 100 chairs in that place. So the people that bought their tickets early were the ones that got in. I was telling one of the other leaders, I think you could have had maybe 200 or 300 people here today. And he says, I know, but they're just beginning. And that's for anybody here on this call today. If you don't know what we're about, this is a mentor call, right? Anybody can join this call. regardless of the business that you're in, obviously we have a specific business that we are in and that we encourage you to take a look at. But in reality, what really sells is when you see the community that you're part of. Here with Dave, him taking his precious time, he's already a millionaire. He already built this, but he dreams for us to fulfill our dreams. So I'm hoping that you know that there's plenty of opportunity, and that's what I wanted to get back at. Right now, we have our own detox program as well. I believe, Dave, that if the roadshow comes and we capture people that are going to be responsible in each given area, right? We got many countries to help with this detox program. You're going to be one of the first leaders to help launch this in your local area. So with that, Dave, that's the idea that I think I got when I was there this weekend, is like, you know, we can capture leaders, situational leaders, or what do you call it? Territory leaders, or leaders that are going to help hopefully get the people into these meetings, and we can sell out too. With 100 people, no problem. So
Yeah, you know, the one thing, Sonia, that I have to say that is pretty cool about For Life is you got these guys that don't have to go out and work. Juan, you know, Jeff was just in India. I'm going to India in June, and I'm going to go to Colombia, Brazil, and Peru. You know, why are we out working when the reality is some of these guys have made 50, 60, 70 million dollars? It's because we love what we do and it gives us purpose. And that's really what For Life is about. To me, it's about purpose, you know,
you
and
know, Dave, one of the things that I noticed that Juan said at the end is one thing that you say: the richest place on earth, I guess, is the cemetery, because that's where everybody's dreams have been buried and they didn't fulfill them. And he, you know, it's about duplication. What you say here is what he's saying there. And it's, you know what, I'm not going to tell you it's easy, because you're going to have to grow as a leader, but it's a simple business, Dave. It's a really simple business, and it's duplication. It's learn, monkey see, monkey do, like you just said. So I really thank you for your time, Dave. And if you don't know about tomorrow, good health solutions and stories and solutions, you need to join us. You know, if you don't know about this product and how it has changed lives, then you need to join us. So the links are in the chat. Please do join us. And I welcome you with any questions. You can look us up, any of us, on Facebook, and join us and see what we're doing. What is it that we're doing that's making a difference? So thanks, Dave.
thank you, Sonia. Thank you. So we'll pass it over to Claudia. Claudia?
Yes, I want to jump in, and Gillian and I had a good idea after the last few episodes with not knowing people. And what we want to make sure is that all of you feel welcome and feel that you are here being seen, like we see you. We don't want, you know, people that are not in this community trying to sabotage whatever they want to do. So I've taken the time, and you know, we're going to start doing this. We do this in the Spanish community, and I think people really like it. So I took the time to go through every single one of you, and I think you maybe saw that I changed not your name, but I added your country, because Spanish community is very competitive. So I'm going to start putting a little bit of that here. And I want to tell you, we had 40 people today. But the interesting thing is we had a total of 11 countries. So because this is a global community, and I want to make sure that I count every single one of you, and that if I don't know you, I want to get to know you. Gillian, Dave, Michael, the support team that is here. Most of us do know each other, but some of you are new, meaning you're new to this meeting, or you're new to For Life. So we want to make sure that you feel that you are welcome. And also we want to point out some great people. So today I wanted, and also competitive. Guess what? Actually, USA won with 12 people because I got one of the people I didn't know, Benitza Webb, that comes from Juan's line. She goes like, I'm from USA, because you know I was counting there, and she said she wants to compete, and so she actually said she's from Venezuela. So welcome, Benita. I think this is your first time in this meeting, so we want to welcome you. And I don't have, meaning I still don't know you well enough. That's how I want to make sure that I do know everybody, or I remember you. I want to know, Terry, if you can tell me in the chat what country you're from and who invited you. Terry, I don't think I recognize you. So if you are a guest, welcome. Please let me know who invited you, and also the country, because we're competing. because Kenya came pretty close. Kenya has got 9 people today. The other person is Lukia Mutsi. And Lukia Mutsi, I don't know you, so I think you may be from Kenya, but I want to confirm. So tell me if Lukia Mutsi is from Kenya. And I also have an iPhone that I haven't identified. And that's the thing. We want to make sure we identify every person that's coming into this meeting. Everybody's welcome, but we want to make sure we know who you are. I thought, oh, Sagan had come in, but she jumped out. And another person I want to honor today is Frankie from Germany. She is a bronze. And I'm so excited that she's here. If she can just say hello to us. And again, just because we want to recognize our bronzes, and I'm just going to unmute you. She's coming late, but I have invited her to start joining us. Let me see here, unmute, so she can introduce herself. And we're so happy to have you here, Frankie. Oh, USA won today.
Oh, hi, Claudia. I didn't know you would do that.
You just have to say who you are and just introduce
Okay,
yourself,
so
Frankie.
we
I'm
met
excited to
at
introduce you to the
we
team.
met at the Great Escape. I just came home, so I feel so jet lagged. So I hope I get my words together. So I'm Franziska. I'm from Germany. I'm bronze, which means that I already have like a growing team, and I love the opportunity. And Claudia and I actually connected because we both have detox programs that we exchanged on and that we're using. And so I hope that, yeah, we will find more common things. And it's great to have the English speaking team and to see them actually, because we're all growing internationally, so we can connect better with each other. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Frankie. Yes, Frankie and I had some really good pool talks, and a Great Escape was fantastic. It really is about a global community. Terry has just told me he is from Kenya. Welcome, Terry. I'm sorry that if I don't know you, that means you're not turning on your camera, or maybe you're fairly new, but we will get to know you because we are a very pretty tight, close community. Sarah Muthoni, I think she's also from Kenya, but again, she didn't turn on her camera. So Kenya, pretty close to USA with the numbers. We want to make sure we start bringing more and more people. Canada came in third with 3 people. So let's bring, oh, yeah, Canada, Dodie, there you go. So let's bring it back to Gillian to close the meeting. And I'm so happy that everybody's here. Dr. Ojina, our bronze from Kenya, is also here. So Gillian, I think you're going to do the announcements for the meetings. I'm going to pass it on to you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, hi everybody. Just back to a great meeting today, and it's nice to see these meetings are getting a lot more global, which is basically means that we're actually spreading the word. The leadership message is getting out there, the trust is getting out there, and the more we actually invite people to these meetings, and like today said, I did put in the links for the 2 communities. That's the Good Health Stories and Solutions. That is to invite those that are potential customers, you know, and those that maybe are not necessarily inundated with the idea of joining a company at this time, but they want to learn about the benefits. Please send them to the Good Health Stories and Solutions. And then we also have the Upline Pro Inner Circle, which again, I put that inside the chat, so you should be able to see that. And then we do also, just so you know, have educational trainings that we do, and sometimes they're just more of a forum where we can ask questions that are hot topics. So tonight, every Monday night, the original detox queen, by the way, I know there's a lot of detoxes out there, but the original detox queen, the one that's been around for 35 years, that was on Oprah, that was on The View, that was on Larry King, was you name it, she was everywhere on the TV shows, and Steve Harvey just monopolized her. She actually has partnered with For Life, and tonight she's actually going to ask the question alongside our very own Dodie Dietz, who's here from Canada, about why are people choosing Ozempic. Yes, she said the word, and because she's a doctor, because people value her, it's very I would send people to her show every Monday night. She does these red hot topics. So tonight's going to be very very hot topic. please join those shows. She records for half an hour that goes to the Feel Good Share Good a YouTube channel. And then we have the beautiful Siobhan Shaw helping with this project as well. And we then go behind the scenes and close it off and have an after party where we actually can ask her questions directly for half an hour. This is a must attend show. So this also, we do also have an exclusive detox program with For Life that she champions. So any questions about that program will be done on that show. Tuesday nights, our beautiful and talented Sonia Van Heck actually opens up the mic for a private talk, which is amazing. Tomorrow night, we have our very own Alice Post, who is an emotional detox therapist, who's going to be talking about stress and how to overcome emotional trauma and giving you some tips. So we do actually have Daughtrey on that show too. So it's an opportunity for an hour to have a private conversation about things that we don't necessarily can talk about publicly. That is run by Good Health Stories and Solutions, which is open for everybody. And I also want to let you know that next week, we have a special guest and a special show. Just so as a reminder that I mentioned at the beginning, there is no Mentor Monday show on Monday, but Tuesday night, I want you guys to be aware that the queen of the Mentor Monday, the queen beside Dave Daughtrey, Gabriella Daughtrey, is going to be having an amazing, amazing show. You want to be able to attend that one. Put that in your calendar for next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday. And it's a discussion about breast implants and how everybody needs to question what they're doing to the body just to make themselves look good. So this is something that's powerful. It's going to be emotional. Please put that on your calendar. I think this is something that we have to talk about today and not worry about this tomorrow. We need to talk about it now. So there's a lot going on, guys. It's a lot going on. But so next week, no Mentor Monday, but the week after that, we are going to be having another global business opportunity meeting that's going to be during the day. Great opportunity to spread the word. This is one that Dave talks about. You know, it's going to be going through the benefits. And if you haven't gone to Upline Pro, make sure you go to uplinepro.com. There's been a revamp. There's a few little changes. We are doing a little more tweaks to it, by the way. But you go into there, you can actually join the membership group that is free to join. This gives you access to some of the resources that we're creating. And every week we try to give you a resource that you can keep and file and add for your training. So make sure you go there. It's something that everybody should be part of. Okay. So on that note, I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up today. Follow Upline Pro for the calendar. Go to Inner Circle tonight. Red hot topic: Ozempic, the miracle cure. I don't think so, but we'll talk about that tonight. And I hope to see everybody next week. And make sure you check the calendar. There's so much going on. I can't keep up, right? J. Michael, right, Sonia, right, Claudia.
And Dr. Regina's health talk on Tuesdays.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Regina's health talk on Tuesdays. So make sure you check the calendar, everybody.
Check
Yes,
the
thank you
calendar.
very much. Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so we're going to stop the recording now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.